Hello, I am the Ronan Paul, and welcome to Technically Food. Today, we will make something that is technically food. We're going to start with spaghetti, and spaghetti begins with a bit of the boiling water. I've already put some salt into the bottom of the pan, or pot, if you want to be technical. Not on this channel. Where the hell's my good knife? I've got two good... Jesus, I've got a lot of cleavers. Oh, my toes! No, we're fine. The cats may be dead. All right, get the cleavers off the ground, and now I've got to wash them. I hope that gag was worth it. I'm not going to wash them, but I'm going to pretend like at some point I'll come back and wash them. If you don't know how to prep garlic, you know, go to a channel that actually knows what the hell they're doing, because I've only processed about, I don't know, 10, 12,000 cloves of garlic in my day, so I can't really tell you how to do it. Now, if you've got yourself a shredder, a grater, maybe even something, a zester, you know, which is just another grater with finer things to it, you might want to do this with that. However, if you're me, and you don't like having to do dishes at the end of cooking, well then you will use the same knife for everything, and you will put those two meat cleavers away without actually washing them. The floor is... Well, I'm going to put them away when I'm done with them anyway. I'm just breaking this up a little bit. You know, it'll all dissolve. It's going to be boiled. It's going to be hot in there. It'll figure itself out. Or it won't. And I won't wash it. And, you know, at the end, as long as it's technically food, then the channel can continue. Now, there is a technique for getting the spaghetti, one, out of the box and two, into the pan without dumping it all over the place. I do not know this technique because every friggin' time that I try to load up some noodles into a pan, I just lose it. So I'm going to start with a little bit. I know you can split the noodles in half, but then you don't have the proper spaghetti experience. I don't want the noodles split in half. I want them to be long. I want them to be spaghetti noodles. So there, 2 handfuls of spaghetti noodles put into the boiling water at relatively the same amount of time and splayed out into a lovely Art Deco fashion. We'll leave those as they are for now and go back over here and realize that I have absolutely no other ingredients planned. Cumin. Cumin is always good in a marinara sauce. Is that what we're making? It's a tomato-based paste. I'm just going to hold the camera so you don't jiggle as much as I do. There you go. Little bit of cumin in there. As you know, in any Italian dish is going to be some turmeric. If you're just learning how to cook, then you might want to go somewhere else, because none of these things should be in here. Some paprika for the color. I don't know. Paprika never really tasted like anything to me. Maybe it tastes like something for you. Little bit of onion powder, and in fact, just a little bit of onion powder. Just a little bit of oregano, rosemary, basil. Slamming things on there. Where's the marjoram? Marjoram. These are the ingredients that you want there. We will get to those right after I shove my spaghetti down into the pan, because, good God, surely it's about ready. Now what I do is I take the noodles, I cross them over each other like that, and then I just try desperately not to boil my own fingers. You just want to fork your noodles right down in there. Fork them. Sometimes you got to get violently. You got to violently fork them. But if you got to fork them hard, then just get in there and fork them. You fork them like they want it. They want it. Do you like that? Take it. Back over here, I've got raw garlic and a bunch of spices. Are you going to put anything that's actually food into your food porn? Maybe. Marjoram. Lots of marjoram for me. And the oregano, which, of course, was first discovered in the Middle Eastern nation of Oregon. And they went, oh, that's horrible. No more jokes from you this episode. Okay. Rosemary in, and a bit of basil. Yes, with the basils. There you go. There's some spices in the bottom of the pan. Let's just throw that on the burner and watch the house burn down. Probably going to want something in there in the form of a tomato paste, maybe some milk, maybe some sour cream, something. I'm going to grab the milk, and I'm going to grab the tomato paste. And look at that. I don't know if you can see in there, but there's not even mold growing on the inside of that. Give me a bit of tomato paste on the end of there, and give me a bit more tomato paste on the end there. There, we've got 2 to 3 tablespoons. We've got 3 tablespoons. We've got 3.5 tablespoons of tomato paste have gone into the pot. Lovely, lovely. And then I think the way that I've been keeping this from molding, because, God, tomato paste, it just dies overnight. That's why usually they sell them in canisters more like this, just so that, you know, they survive. because you're never going to use all this tomato paste before it molds, and I've gotten more than halfway through this one, so I'm doing pretty good. Fair bit of milk in there. Yeah, I don't want to I need it to get overly watery. That's what the water's for. You're going to need more in there, or else you're not going to have much of a sauce. Yes, but there are going to be other liquids in there. Like what? Water, I was thinking. That's a good start. We could have some water. What am I doing? Why don't you get some oil in there, Pawn? Some oil. Yes, a little bit of oil helps quite a bit with a sauce such as this. You know, one of the big differences between pizza sauce and regular, like, noodle marinara sauce is just dumping a whole bunch of oil in. And again, not a big fan of doing dishes, so using the cap as my measuring tool. Yeah, that's enough oil. Again, don't want it being that fatty, he says as he adds probably a teaspoon's worth of pure vegetable oil, maybe a little bit more, which means that's probably 160 to 180 calories of pure liquid fat I've just dumped in there. Either, by the time we're done with it, you know, we'll say, well, that's technically food. I don't know if I want to eat it. Either we'll say that, or we'll say, you know, this is how many calories were in it or something. I don't know. I'm really lazy. This sounds like an awful lot of work. I've just put some of my boiled water into this. It really should be on the simmer by now, don't you think, Pawn? All right, fair enough. How about a bit of the old, ye olde sour cream for us going in there? What else? Oh, I wanted to put some actual food in my food also, because until now it's really just been spices and milk and spices. It's mainly spices so far. So let's have some actual proper onion and not just onion powder in there, along with a bit of sour cream, which can go in, well, should go in basically immediately. All right, the sour cream's going straight in. The onions really should have been in quite some time ago as well. And using the same fork, same utensil, once more. Don't worry, I boiled it. It's clean. There's how much sour cream's going in there. If this goes well, I will actually, like, figure out the ingredients, more or less, and give you a breakdown at the end of this, like how many calories went into it. If it doesn't go well, which I'm kind of hoping for, because that sounds like an awful lot of work, this is an interesting experience. Instead of trying to create something that's good and flavorful and memorable and go, oh, good, I've got it on video, I'll be able to remember what that recipe is next time. I'm kind of hoping that my meals turn out horrible, because if they do, then I don't have to be bothered. And since I'm getting around to putting the onion in late, we got to do this in a hurry. So just start whipping your knife around really fast, or you know, don't, and just move like a chef. You know, make your cuts. Ah, my finger. No, I'm good. I didn't do that. Get the skin off of there. Ooh, will I get the skin off without having to peel an extra layer off? Oh, I did. Take off the other end of it. Quick, Pawn. Quick, it's like a Sudoku puzzle. Do it as quickly as you possibly can. Get all that shit out of the way. And then just a little, just like that. Yeah, you can see it. Here, I'll stand kind of to the left, and I'll be crossing my body while I'm holding a knife and trying to make cuts. There's some onion. Give me a little bit more. Little bit more that's going to go in there. Yeah, there's some onion for you. Put it all in your hand. All in your hand. Right with the garlic that's still stuck to your hand. Your hand's going to smell like garlic and onion for the next couple of days. I don't know why women don't approach me in the bars. And into this other thing on the back, I'm now standing on tiptoe in the hopes that you can actually see some of what's going on in the back here. Look, I'm stirring it in. Mom, did I do it right? She's going, no, God, don't let them know that I taught you to cook. She didn't. I wasn't interested in cooking when she might have been interested in teaching me. I had to learn at a Zen Buddhist monastery when they said, cook us something. And I said, how do you feel about noodles that aren't very done being stuck in your teeth for the entire rest of the video? Ew. Okay, just swallow, Pawn. Swallow it whole. Don't chew. Chewing's only going to make it worse. Right, there's some actual food in our dish. What else needs to go in there? Well, I'm going to go to the magic cupboard of magic things where magic stuff happens. It's up here, okay? And what I'm going to bring down now is something you may question my sanity over, but you're wrong. I know exactly what I'm doing. It's instant mashed potatoes. Shut up. It's fine. It works as a thickener. It's a very good thickener, okay? I do also have cornstarch and flour and that whatnot, but mashed potato flour, that's what you got to think of this as. It's very good as a thickener, and it adds just a subtle something, a little hint of well, mashed potatoes. In fact, that ain't thick enough. I mean, more. Oh! Shit. Okay. May have put a little bit too much in there, and even though I don't like doing dishes, just might be able to kind of get this over here and just kind of scoop off some. I'm not going to be able to do that. Oh, and I've dirtied this. Oh, shit. Just stir it in, Pawn. It's going to be a nice, thick, juice, just a meaty, beefy kind of a sauce because of that thing that I just did. That I totally... It was intentional. Give her a good stir. Oh, she's thick now. Going to have to turn the heat far down on that, or else it's going to bubble and pop as it goes. How are we doing, by the way? It's, what would you call that? Flavor-free. It's flavor-free is what we're saying that it is right now. So we're going to add the key ingredient in pretty much anything that I make. That's going to be a healthy dose of mustard. Okay, and because most mustards do not contain enough apple cider vinegar, at least for my taste, the last of the apple cider vinegar, which, judging by the smell, I would say that if it weren't already vinegar, I gotta use that quick, because it's going to turn to vinegar. In fact, I'll use the cap as a way of measuring 1.5 capfuls of vinegar into there. Now we've got some flavor working. You'll note that I didn't put any salt into my sauce as of yet. Which is probably part of why it's flavorless. I'm trying to avoid, you know, the use of sodium. I think it's cheap. You know, any chef who relies on just dumping a bunch of salt in their dishes, well, they're people who eat their food are probably happy, as opposed to the... I don't know why women don't come home with me. Tell you what, this sauce just needs a little bit of accoutrement. A little bit of accoutrement, so we're going to take out some corn and something that the mystery that is in this container. This is going to save it, or make it worse. But the corn, definitely. I want the corn in there. What do you mean, corn in a red sauce? Of course corn in a red sauce. By the way, that is a Tupperware container right there. I'm just going to put the lid back on for safe storage. Don't leave your food in the can, people. I've heard that it wicks the metal from the... and then it's in your food and then you die or something. I've been doing it for years, but don't do it yourself. I mean, see how it worked out for me? I've got chronic fatigue syndrome, and I'm not that funny. But now we get on to the mystery dish. What's in here? Why, it's beef. Actually, that's beans. I'm a vegetarian. But I made these bean patties the other day, and they came out. I'm not going to finish that with an adjective. But they came out anyway, and yeah, I'm going to put one whole bean patty in there and crumble it up. I was going to put it on top originally. No, just crush it up, and then maybe I'll have another one on top. Okay. That is actually, you know, passable. I could live with that. What I would like to add to it, however, is some nutritional yeast. And if you've never heard of nutritional yeast, this is vegan cheese right here. Vegans, people who don't do the milk and other things that I just put in here, they will tell you that this is the substitute for cheese, and they are very much right. Usually, you want to do something with the nutritional yeast in order to make it a little bit more like the cheese. You can blend cashews with it and get yourself different sort of feels of cheese. Me personally, I just use this stuff like it's Parmesan. Parmigiano Romano. It can go into anything. It can top anything that just needs a little bit of extra kick. So that's going to give me a little bit of a cheesy flavor in my nice, totally intentionally thick potato red paste with corn kernels in it. Marinara sauce. Marinara. Okay, let's put some of this stuff away so that I can think clearly. What did I say I wanted to do? You want some salt in there, Pawn. Salt. Is there anything else that I might like in this that I haven't thought of putting in yet? I could just dump salsa in there. That's my solution for when things go wrong. Things haven't gone wrong. This one's okay. Is it so okay that I'll have to actually, like, do the thing where I break down the caloric intake? I don't know about that. That's a lot of work. Also, you're not going to be able to break down the beans here because you just did that on the fly like you do everything else. So, Yeah, screw it. Salt, right, salt, sure. A little bit of sea salt here. Well, it's not sea salt, actually. This is just regular, this is iodized salt. I recommend going out of your way to get the iodized stuff, because otherwise, where are you going to get iodine in your diet? I mean, you could suck on the tips of pens. Pens. There's 4 letters in it. And there you have it. I've got a sauce, I've got noodles coming out, and I can top it with sort of a patty, a bean patty, and make it into almost like a veal marinara mashed potato sauce. Oh my god, that's beautiful. Now that the salt's in there, that's beautiful, and I'm going to trust that I'm right about you being done. So, time to dump the noodles, put the stuff on a plate, and then go and eat it. I may have to nuke one of those bean patties to put on top because they're cold. They just came out of the... But, you know, other than that, you've seen everything that's going to happen here. So I'm going to stop recording and just edit all this out so that I don't have to keep talking ad nauseum. Because it's really... it's a lot. And then we dump this back in. The question becomes, with all of my food there, which I'm setting precariously on the edge just so that you can see it all. Look, it's lovely. No, I'm not going to mix it in the pot. I'm going to put it on a plate. I'm going to put the plate in the microwave, and I will meet you, well, somewhere with a beer, because that's how I eat. Beer. It's good. Especially if you dump too much potatoes in your sauce. Beer. And now, friends, the moment of truth, where we try this concoction and find out whether it is food technically, or if it's technically food. Ready? Damn it. This is actually good. Alright, let me eat it, have my beer, and then... you know, tomorrow or 3 days from now, because, you know, magic of editing, I'll tell you what was in it. Damn it! This is too good. Alright, kids, let's have a look at what went into our spaghetti dish. Now, I've done a nutrition calculation based off an estimation of what I put in based on what I saw myself putting in during the video. I've estimated we have 1 clove of garlic, and that's more than an estimation that's actually accurate. About 8 ounces of spaghetti, 2 somethings of cumin, and you know what? If you're interested in this, freeze the screen and look at it yourself. I'm really curious about the nutritional facts here. And look at this, just 734 calories in that entire pot. When divided by 2. I decided to call it 2 servings in the pot. I ate about 3/4 of that meal and then had the rest the next day. I overeat, though. For a normal human being, just 734 calories in that whole pot of spaghetti. We've done very good on the fat for our 1 large meal for the day dinner, just 26% of our daily value. However, our saturated fat value at 55%, maybe I might want to back off the vegetable oil just a little bit. But in terms of cholesterol and especially sodium, 318 milligrams of salt, and that's all. That's impressive. That is an impressive amount of not a lot of salt in it. I am happy with this meal as it is, and therefore you can use the recipe in order to get your 35% daily value of calcium, for example, or 51% of your iron, or 113% of your manganese. The hell did I use has manganese in it? And a small caveat here, which is kind of a large caveat, is that I was not able to calculate the bean patties that I put into it because I prepared them completely on the fly and off the cuff, and I did not record that, and so... if it's 734 calories before the bean patties, and each patty is 200 to 250, well then it's nearing 1,000 calories for a normal person, and then what I probably had was 1,300 calories in that meal because I chronically overeat. Also, there was a beer in that with me, so, God, the beer was good. In fact, I'm out of beer. So that's cooking, technically cooking, technically food, something like that. Listen, I've got to go out and get some more beer. Beer run time. Pulling out. Oh, yeah. That's what you need. With the corn and the mashed potatoes and the marinara. And the noodles and the apple cider vinegar and the nutritional yeast. What are you going to do without that?